Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life the Mundane and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how we did our first days of school. This year we decided to do something completely different. Instead of starting all of our kids at one time, we decided to start them on 3 separate days. I'm going to explain why we did this, how we did this, and show you guys a little peek into what we did on these days and how the experiment went. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Katie and welcome to Life the Mundane. I am a second generation homeschool mom of 6 beautiful kiddos, and on this channel we talk all things resources. I love to share with you resources that are going to help you in your homeschooling and help encourage you in your biblical parenting and how you can utilize those to their fullest potential so that you can make the most of the little moments. So first of all, why did we do this? Well, one, as you know, if you guys caught my live a couple weeks ago, you know that I've been really overwhelmed about starting this school year. I don't know why. It's just been really hard to wrap my brain around. And so I felt like it would be a little less overwhelming to slowly ease into things rather than to just dive in all at once. The other part of it is that I have kids who are older and who are doing more complex curriculum, and I felt the need to sit down and kind of explain things to them, or even the ones that aren't doing more complex work, they are doing just different curriculum, and I needed the opportunity to kind of introduce that to them. So I thought it would be better to do that separately as well. And then the third reason why I decided to do this is because Jamie Erickson, who wrote Homeschool Bravely, which is by far my favorite homeschool book of all time. If you've not read it, I highly recommend you go get a copy right away. And you're going to want to buy a copy because you want to reread it. I'm serious. Or just get it on audiobook so you can listen to it all the time. This book has been so instrumental in my homeschool life. And one of the things she does, and she's done from the beginning, is to slowly start her kids. She actually gives each kid their own start date, but instead I decided to do it in pairs. I decided to do this because our kids just naturally fall in pairs. We have the older boys, which are in the same grade. We have the older girls. They just do everything together. And then we have the younger girls, and they're in the same grade. So it just kind of made sense to do it that way. This really gave me an opportunity to celebrate each individual kid. And honestly, one of the things that I loved about it so much was the fact that it gave me an opportunity to kind of work out the kinks slowly and not be like slammed and overwhelmed with all of the things that go wrong. Because no matter how much planning you do, there are always going to be things that need to be tweaked and adjusted. And I'm not going to say after having a 3-day start date that we're like a perfect plan now, but it is running so much smoother than it would have if we would have all started at one time. So what did we do on the first day of school? Well, we kind of have 3 sections to our first day of school, and they all have a very specific purpose. The first is traditions, and then preparation and expectation, and then the third is actual academic schoolwork. So let me break that down a little bit more. When it comes to traditions, one of the things we do is having a home-cooked first day of school breakfast. Kept it simple still. We did cinnamon rolls the first day, but they were from a can, and we did some fruit. We did pancakes from a mix and some fruit, and then finally we finished off muffins from a mix and some fruit. So just kept it really simple, but it was a hot, fresh meal that the kids really enjoyed having, something special, as we normally do more fend for yourself on school mornings. The second thing we did tradition-wise is that we had the kids do a scavenger hunt for their back-to-school supplies. So I hid their supplies all around the house, and then I gave them a series of clues so that they would have to find each of the items. They enjoy finding their pencil boxes and then loading it up with all the fun supplies. The third thing when it came to traditions is that we do our first day of school presents. If you want to see more about what we did for our first day of school presents, you can check out the video up in the iCards or down in the description below to learn more about each of those books that we gave them. But we gave them something that would help them to grow in their spiritual walk with the Lord. Along those lines, we also sat down and read a story together. For the girls, we were reading at least one, if not both, of the books that we gave to the girls, just because they were shorter and able to be consumed a little bit easier. But for the boys, we actually sat down and read a book that was about a child who struggled with dyslexia and how they kind of worked through that with the help and support of their family and their teachers. And I just thought it might be a really good inspirational thing for the one that does have dyslexia, or even for the one that does not, just to keep persevering and know that challenges can be good for you. So we just kind of spent time reading those and then had the kids fill out an All About Me book. These are just books that I got from Dollar Tree. They're blank books, and it's like a 4-pack for $1. And I just had the kids write out anything they wanted to about them. Things, ways that God's made them special, things that they like right now or dislike, how old they are, what grade they're in. They got to illustrate and write whatever they wanted in this book as we were reading, and that really was a fun tradition to do with them. Of course, we had first day of school pictures, because what first day would be complete without that? And then we moved into our second section of the day. So the second section of the day, which is all about expectations and preparations. So with this, we sat down and we went over the kids' new schedules and what those would look like. I explained to them how we're going to start using these Velcro schedules so they can move the items from one side to the other. They are using their Busy Bee student planner, but this is for the stuff that they do every single day, and their Busy Bee planner they will use for more specific projects or other parts of their school. I'll kind of show more of that maybe in another month or two after we've refined our system here, but I showed them how we're using that schedule. We spent time going through any of their online programs and copying into their Busy Bee planner what their passwords and usernames were so that they had access to those, so they don't need me every single time they need to log in. We went over things like our pencil wars. This year we're doing something different, and we are going to be trying an idea that I saw off of Facebook where we are going to be giving each of our kids 4 pencils. They are marked with their color and they are put in a toothbrush case. I got that at Dollar Tree. And so we are giving that to them. And if they can keep track of those 4 pencils at the end of a period, then they will get a small prize. So at the beginning, we're going to start out by checking in once a week, and each Friday, if they have all 4 original pencils, they get a small prize. Then after the first month of school, we will move to only doing this once a month, and it will be a slightly bigger prize. I can share more about that in another video if you guys want to know what that looks like. But the idea here is to hopefully give them more personal responsibility over their school supplies and their items, and hopefully make it where we're not going through as many pencils all the time. At that month, when they swap over, I will see if they need to swap out any pencils for new ones, and that's totally fine, but just trying to keep them accountable to keeping track of those 4 pencils. So I kind of laid that out for them. We also talked about where things go and where they don't go. And then we moved into our third and final section of our day, which is the academics time. Now, we don't do every subject. In fact, we don't do any group subjects on first days of school. We don't do any group subjects on our first days of school. For that, we just stick with individual subjects. This helps me to make sure everybody is set up, that they have all their software downloaded. If it's like they're teaching textbooks, that's all in order. It helps to make sure that with their reading, that we have all the books and all the titles and all the things we need. It really just helps to make sure everything's in place and everybody understands their curriculum. For one of my sons, we have been using Fix-It Grammar, and my plan was to continue doing that throughout the summer, but we ultimately decided to set it off to the side for the summer and just pick up where we left off. And because of that, it had been a while. So that first lesson just took a little longer as we were reviewing the different concepts. Well, if I had done that in a day where I had all the kids together, it would have really taken a lot of time, and I probably wouldn't have taken the time to sit there and review the way I needed to. But I felt very free to do so with my son. Because we're only doing those subjects that are done independently or that are done one-on-one with me and not worrying about any of our group subjects, it really freed us up to have a nice short day, which also made it fun and left a good taste in everybody's mouth. So what did I think of this? This is the first year we've ever done it this way, and I will say I really, truly loved it. There were some things where like the type A person in me was cringing a little bit because I was like, oh, this isn't the schedule we're gonna get used to, or, oh, well, we could have squeezed in a little science reading, or we could have done this. But ultimately, it really was good because I felt like I got to savor those moments with my kids. I really got to enjoy those first days with them. We really got to set down some good foundational habits, and it was amazing to see our first day going to everybody all together. They just kind of fell into place. It really went smoothly because everybody had very clear instructions on what they were to do when they were on their own or when they had their one-on-one time with mom. So I really highly recommend it. I know that most of you guys have probably already started for the school year, but this is a fun experiment and hopefully something that you can consider for future years. Obviously, it's not right for everybody, but especially if you're running into a year where you're overwhelmed, something to consider. I also think this can be a great idea when it comes to coming back to school after the holidays. So after Christmas and you're getting back into your routine in January, I think we will do something similar. Obviously, not as many traditions and craziness, but maybe easing more back in one kid at a time. I hope this is helpful. Feel free to drop any questions you have down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe because we have a lot more great content coming up here really soon. We'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.